about that. My camera was covered up. So, what I want to know is what if your child with ADHD, it does not have a syndrome or a disorder? What if it's just a list of symptoms that that can be addressed and that can be changed? I'm Dr. Jan Bedell, and that's what I've been doing for over 30 years, is helping families figure out what symptoms are causing those actions that get them on that checklist and what to do to stimulate the brain so it builds new pathways so they don't have those symptoms anymore. That's basically what we're going to be talking about for a few weeks. There's so much to ADHD that we really have to address. So I hope that you will watch the video that I'm making. We'll post it later today on um, the symptoms of, it's a symptomatic label. They have a certain number of symptoms, and if before 12, the parents check the symptoms off, and also the school or another organization before they're 12, and it's consistent and it disrupts their ability to handle life, then they give them that label. So I hope you're going to watch that because I took the symptoms that they have on their checklist and I put it where we have the neurodevelopmental root causes. It could be certain symptoms could be caused by several things happening in the brain. It could be hypersensitivity. We'll go through the whole list. Today, I want to emphasize and really concentrate on one that is so instrumental. It's just globally affects the child. So I want to talk about a symptom uh, that causes them. It's really not a symptom. It's a root cause that causes them to do lots of things on the checklist, and that is low processing. Now, you have auditory processing, that's your short term memory, and you have visual short term memory. But auditory is the one that affects the child so much and has so many of the same symptoms of ADHD that if you treat this, the auditory processing, which is very easy to do a couple of times a day for 2 minutes, can make all the difference in a child's ability to stay on task, follow directions, all of those kind of things. So some people think these symptoms obviously are from ADHD, but the root cause is that auditory short term memory where it holds pieces of information together. Now, what I'm going to list is just a few of these symptoms. Following directions is one of them. This can cause so much friction in the family that it's just very irritating every day because you tell the child something, go upstairs, get your shoes and socks, and come back down. We've got to go. And they trot off upstairs. And then you're waiting, you've got everything ready, and nothing is happening. The child is not back. They have not, in your view, followed directions. So you're running up the stairs, just mad as you can be, saying, "Where are you? And what are you doing?" And they just look at you like with this deer in the headlight look like, "Was I supposed to be doing something?" And you just want to pinch their ears off because they didn't follow directions. Well, let's think about it. They were upstairs. They might even have their shoes and socks. The rest of that instruction, because they couldn't hold the pieces, was wah, 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 wah. Okay. So the other thing that I'm going to say about this is that I was just checking on the comments. Yes, I totally agree with you, Mystic. You need solutions. You know what the symptoms are. A lot of people just don't know what the root cause is. That's why I'm going through this today, and we'll be giving you ways to address these right at the end of this. For sure, we can start making a difference right away. So, staying on task is one of the things that if you don't have good auditory processing, keeping your short-term memory engaged, then you have trouble staying on task. It causes problems with comprehension. The child reads something, they're smart, they hear it, they can't hold on to the pieces to be able to comprehend. Now, this also affects their behavior, this auditory processing, which, a lot of times if you're labeled with ADHD, you seem to act more immature or be more impulsive. You just do things. But so oftentimes when we're dealing with this label, we see a lot of immaturity or behavior issues that they act like a younger child. You've got a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, you expect this 12-year-old behavior, and it's not happening. And so that can be very frustrating. But auditory processing could be the root of that. It also affects conversational language. Have you ever been where you're in a conversation with someone and your child runs in, interrupts your conversation, not even aware of what's going on around them, and they are acting really, in your view, rude, and you want to treat it behaviorally. But what's happened is they've thought of something. They're so like they have to tell you, and, they just interrupt because if they don't tell you right now, they'll forget, and then it affects their conceptual thinking as well, seeing the big picture. So that's where a lot of this impulsivity comes from with this label is they, don't really get the environment, so they do impulsive things, they yell out in class or something, not seeing, "Oh, everybody else is quiet, maybe I should be quiet too." That's that's something that, often happens when they have low auditory processing. Now, when you get the list of symptoms and possible root causes, because what I did was I made a PDF and it will be available in that from that other video that we'll post later today. That is going to be something that you can look at as possible symptoms, and each one of the symptoms that we have in our life or because of something going on in our brain. And the cool thing is everything can be everything can be better. Everything can be changed by something God put in our brain, neuroplasticity. So when you stimulate the brain with specific stimulation, then it changes. So if you would like to check and see where your child is on auditory processing, which has many of the same symptoms like we've talked about as the ADHD label, I just want you to put comments in the no, in the comments, I want you to put test kit. Sorry. Um, just put test kit there and we'll direct message you a link to the auditory processing test kit that we have. This will teach you to test for auditory processing, tell you where your child should be according to their age, and also give you things to do. Like I said, twice a day for 2 minutes can really make a difference with a child's auditory processing. So it will give you things to do as well. So if there's any questions that you have from what we've talked about now, go ahead and put those in the chat. And otherwise, be looking for more on this each week until we go through all the different possibilities of the symptoms. And like I said, later on today, we'll have that longer version of what the symptoms are, and then what I believe some of the root causes would be. We may not be able to get to all of them, but things like hypersensitivity to sound, to touch, all of those things can affect a child in their ability to sit still, pay attention, and follow directions. So for now, I'm going to go off from this, and I'll be working on that video for you. So look for that a little later this afternoon. Don't worry, Missick. There's hope. Just want you to know there's hope for change without coping and compensating or medication. See you soon.